What are the ways that you can protect yourself in these really, really difficult times as an immigrant, whether you have status or not? And especially you may be a US citizen who wants to protect your family. So keep watching. I'm going to tell you my top pieces of advice for keeping yourself and your family safe. Hi, my name is Momira Rahman and I'm an immigration attorney. I have been practicing immigration law for the past 15 years, including through the last Trump administration. Now, my number one piece of advice is do not open your doors. If ICE comes knocking on your door, you are not obligated to open it. You are not obligated to open. They are going to show you a warrant, but it has to be the right type of warrant. Now, there are two types of warrants that an ICE officer may be able to show you. The first is called an ICE warrant, and you have to ask to see a copy of the warrant to really look at it carefully. Now, you can ask the ICE agent to slip it underneath your door or to hold it up against the window. Underneath the door is definitely preferable because then that way you'll actually have a proper chance to read it. Now, here is the key difference. An ICE warrant can be issued by an ICE officer themselves. It is signed by an ICE officer. So if you see that the warrant says that it's signed by an immigration officer or by Department of Homeland Security, that is not the same as a judicial warrant. A judicial warrant gives ICE the authority to enter your house and to come inside and grab people, basically. A judicial warrant is signed by a judge. So that is the number one thing that you're gonna look for is if ICE shows up at your door and they want to enter, you are not obligated to open your door. And in fact, do not open your door. Ask to see the warrant. The warrant must be signed by a judge. If the warrant is not signed by a judge, they do not have the authority to enter. Number two, anyone who is a non-citizen is actually required by law to carry around a copy of their identification. So if you're a green card holder, you are supposed to have your green card. If you have an EAD, carry that around with you. But the biggest problem is, what if you don't have an EAD? What if you don't have any sort of legal status? If you don't have any legal status and you get approached by ICE officers, you have the right to remain silent. You do not have to answer any of their questions. So make sure that you exercise your right to remain silent. Now, here's one more thing. If you have a case in process, carry copies of that receipt or those receipts around with you. The receipts by themselves will not protect you from getting arrested. However, they will help your attorneys try to get you out of your detention and to get you some sort of relief. So it's a lot better than having nothing. But if you don't have any receipts, you get approached, do not say anything, ask to speak to an immigration attorney. Now, the next thing is a little bit interesting. If you're a US citizen, carry a copy of your passport with you because it's not unheard of, and we've already had reports hearing about US citizens being swept up in arrests and being detained. And, you know, if you look ethnic, carry a copy of your passport around. The next question that I have been getting a lot is it safe to travel domestically? Is it safe to travel domestically? And I'm going to say that if you are completely undocumented, if you do not have an EAD, if you do not have an advance parole, if you're going to travel, even if it's by bus or by train and you're not planning on driving, you do need to exercise caution because there's no guarantee that there won't be a checkpoint through where you are traveling, or there won't be agents that board a train or a bus to ask for documentation. So if you don't have to travel, don't. If you do have an EAD, if you do have a green card, if you do have some case pending that has given you a travel permission, traveling domestically is fine. The next thing is if you have advance parole, my recommendation is to not travel these next few months because we have heard of persons, Customs and Border Patrol being a lot more aggressive at the airport. So they have the right to refuse entry to anyone, even if you have an advance parole. The only people that they must allow back in are green card holders and US citizens. So if you're traveling on advance parole, if you're planning on traveling internationally, you may want to postpone that travel until further notice. Now, if you're a green card holder, here's my other advice. If you are a green card holder who is traveling internationally and upon your return, you encounter problems at customs, do not sign anything. Actually, this advice goes to anybody. Do not sign anything. Do not sign anything. You are not obligated to sign anything with ICE, with DHS, none of them, okay? So at the airport, something that frequently happens is even if you have a green card, A lot of times, if the ICE officer wants to give you problems, they can still give you problems, and they might say that you have to sign this document. And usually what that document is it is a I-407 abandonment of your permanent residency. So do not get pressured or fooled into signing that document, because then you're going to have some problems. Instead, if you are a green card holder encountering problems returning to the US, tell the CBP official that you wish to see an immigration judge and that you wish to be placed in proceedings, because then at least you're going to be allowed in and you're going to be given a chance to, keep your residency in front of a judge. And my last piece of advice is that if you have any sort of criminal history, whether, even if you were just charged and it was dismissed, do not travel, because this is going to raise red flags. They can see all of your criminal history when you come in at the airport, so don't take a chance right now. Please share this widely. People need to know this information.